creating the scoring system, we're going to create a text field on the stage which will represent the score and the remaining number of lives. We're going to add the scoring logic and we're going to add the lives logic. Now, if you recall in the previous section, this was the way our game looked. As you can see, when the ball reaches the bottom, we don't lose any lives and it just continues bouncing. On the other hand, when we actually hit a brick, we don't see any score added to our score, and we don't see anything basically. We don't have any visual representation of either the lives or the score we currently have. So that's what we're going to add now. First of all, we're going to add 3 new variables. One of them will be the score, which at the beginning should be 0. The other should be lives, which at the beginning will be 3. And the third will be score text. The score text will be the visual representation of the score and the lives. It will be a text field which we'll create in Create.js, which will have this info. So first we're going to add a new function called addToScore. This function will get points as a variable and will add these points to the score. After adding it to the score, we will add to the score text the new data. So we're going to display score equals the score value slash lives and the lives value. Before we can edit the text of the score text, we need to display it on stage. So we're going to add a new function called createScoreText, which basically creates the text field element on the stage. So we're going to add new Create.js text, and the default text will be empty. The font type will be 16 pixels in height, and we'll use Arial, and its color should be black, so we'll use the HTML code for black. Its location should be at the bottom of the stage, so we're going to take the canvas height and we're going to remove 16 pixels because the height of the text field, as you can see above, is 16 pixels. So it will be really aligned with the bottom of the stage, and we're going to add it to the stage. Add child and score text. Now the last thing we should add is the loseLife function. LoseLife function will reduce 1 from the number of available lives. The score text will again be updated, so we can use the same text we have here. Now, after we lose a life, usually the ball returns to the paddle and sticks to the paddle until the user clicks and the game restarts. We're going to elaborate about this in the next section when we talk about the mouse interaction and the keyboard interaction. But for the time being, what we're going to do is when we lose a life, we're going to set the ball X speed and ball's Y speed to 0 so that the ball won't move after we place it on the paddle. So the ball X is the paddle X, and the ball Y should be the paddle Y, which is the middle of the paddle, minus half of the paddle height, minus the ball radius. So this way we're going to place it exactly on the middle of the paddle. Now we need to add the addToScore function and the loseLife function in the correct locations. So in the previous section we've added the destroy brick logic. Now whenever we destroy a brick, basically hit it. So we can add to score 100. Now, if you recall in the previous video, I told you about the fact that currently the ball bounces when it reaches the bottom of the screen, but in fact, the user should lose a life once it reaches the bottom of the screen. So we're going to take this logic and change it to lose life. Now we need to add the text to the stage, create score text, and we'll add it in the init function so that we'll have it on screen. Edit the previous section and show the fact that it's a function. Now we're going to test the game. As you can see, we've hit one brick and the ball left the stage at the bottom. We lost one life. I'll refresh and then you can see that it happens again and again and again. Now, one thing we can see that the text doesn't appear before we hit one brick. So let's see what we can do in order to fix this issue. After we create the score text, let's use the add to score method which we've created earlier and set it to 0. So we add 0 points to the score, but in this function we'll also display the new text. So now that we test the game, we're going to see that the text appears from the beginning of the game. And the score is updated and the lives are updated. Now, since the pedal doesn't move, because we don't have any mouse or keyboard interaction, then in the next section we'll be able to see how it progresses with hitting more bricks and losing more lives. Congratulations! Now you know how to create a scoring system in your HTML5 game. This concludes our Game Logic Part 1 section. In the next section, we'll add the final touches to the game logic and complete our game.